Hi all guys, I'm Guru here. I'm back to you people. Guys, today just I would like to help you out to explain you about how the application is going to work and what exactly this API testing means, how we are going to conduct an API testing on the web application. Guys, let me share my desktop and concentrate on the topic, how best I'm going to connect to people the APIs as well as how the client server is going to work. Okay. So it is one of the best opportunity if you involve with me on the testing. It will help you a lot and it will give you a lot of confidence to work alone in industries. Guys, let us see how best we are going to help you out on client server as well as an API testing. So let us see, guys. Let me share the desktop. Okay. Guys, can you be able to see my desktop? Okay, let us see. Just give me some moment. Let me check it. I just hold on. Let it get upload. Okay, guys, can you able to see my desktop? All of you? Okay. So let me help you out. See, for example, if anybody they wanted to do a testing on the product, on the application. Okay, for example, the XYZ person, guys, listen carefully. This XYZ person wanted to do the testing on the product or the application. Imagine that this is an application. Okay. In this application, how what kind of testing he can able to do? That depends on your client recommendation. Means customer, what are the customer is going to recommend for that particular person, he can do the testing. Means these people will tell them, okay, what kind of testing they need on this application. See, first most thing is this person can do the functional testing on this application. These persons can do the performance testing, performance testing on this application. And this persons can do the stress testing on this application. And this person can do the security testing on this application, as well as these persons can do the API testing also on this application. Means the overall intention of the QA person is they wanted to give the good quality services to the customer with respect to testing. Okay. These all are different kinds of testing he can perform. He can perform on this application base. He can do the different kinds of testing on this application. Okay. So among them, API is one. API testing is one. API, application programming interface, is a one testing. To understand API testing, guys, little bit you should know basic Java. And before that, you should know how one web application is going to work. If you understand how one web application is going to work, it will be easy for you to do the API testing. Okay. API testing is a part of a testing. Like it is a, say for example, this is the functional testing. This first is the functional testing. Functional testing person can do, and he can do the performance testing also. Performance testing also he can do. Performance testing also he can do. And he can do the stress testing. Stress testing also he can do. And he can do the web application, that is a functional testing also he can do. And he can do the security testing also. And he can do the API testing also. API testing means API testing, how we are going to do. Before getting into the API testing, guys, you should know how one client and server is going to work, and what is the architecture of client and server, how we are how we are going to work on the client as well as on the server. How guys, these many things we should know while working on the API testing. Okay. So these all requests come from the customer. Customer may recommend to do the security testing. Customer may recommend to do the functional testing. Customer may recommend to do the performance testing. Performance testing. Customer may recommend us to do the API testing. Any kind of testing he may require, but we need to perform all kind of testing to maintain the good quality of deliverables. Testing is a key part to deliver the good quality of product to the customer. Okay. So let us see in the API testing, we can do the API testing manually using the Postman tool. So there are a couple of functionality in the Postman tool. We wanted to make use of it, and we can do the API testing by sending the API request to the server. By first, we would like to imagine that this is an API tool. Certain functionality of API, certain functionality of Postman tool, we wanted to take and we wanted to perform the testing on API. Means there are couple of facilities in Postman tool is available. So those functionality, those available facilities we wanted to take and we wanted to do the API testing. So before and that is manually we can do, and we can do the API testing automation also using REST assured. Okay. So for example, let me help you out before getting into the API testing or the kind of REST assured API testing. Let you need to understand certain concept, guys. Let me help you out on that. Okay. Let me help you out on the concept. Okay. So there is a concept called client and a server. Client and server. There is another concept called server. Server. How exactly, how it is going to work on the web application is really important, guys. What is the client? What is the server? Okay. So client in the sense, see, there is a particular person, he is sitting in front of the computer. Just imagine this person, he is sitting in front of the computer called, he will open the browser in front of the computer and he will send some request through HTTPS, through HTTP. HTTP, yes, something, google.com. Google.com. What is happening over here? What is happening over here? This is the client where this person made a request, and he's sending the data. Then there is a database server where applications are available. We call it as database server, DB, DB server. So whenever this person is sending a request to the server, whenever this person is sending a request to the server, there are DB, there is a database. What it will do, it will search this data, the request data through HTTPS, it will go and it will search inside the data, inside the database. If the content request is matching the database, it will send them back. It will send them back through HTML page where you can see the data, where you can see the client. Client is the one, he is going to request, I want this. The database is the one which will search that request in the database, available database, which will respond you back through a HTML page. This is the client and server. How the client is working, how the server is working. Guys, there are different kinds of client and server. There is a different kinds of architecture in the client and server.
Okay. One is one tier architecture. One is one tier R architecture. Means architecture. Means what is happening over here? If any person, he wanted to use any computer called computer, he wanted to use the computer. Okay. It is a single machine he wanted to use. Means it is a one tier architecture where client and server is in the same machine. Client is also here, server is also here. Means, for example, if I wanted to save one file, I will enter something, I will open the Excel, I wanted to enter the data, I wanted to save that file. Means the saving the file will happen in the same system. And client is your Excel which you have opened. Means, I mean to say, it is a one tier architecture. It is a old technology. Nowadays, no one will use this. Okay. I call it as one tier architecture where client and servers are in the same machine. Client and servers are in the same machine. Second one is two tier architecture. Two tier architecture. I mean to say, two tier architecture. Two tier architecture. Means here server is a different machine. Guys, listen carefully. Server is a different machine where this is the laptop or whatever it might be. This is the machine where server is located somewhere in the same organization, and there are plenty of the clients. One person using computer, two person using computer, three person using computer, four person using computer, and all persons they were requesting the server in from one server which is a local, which is available, where that server will have security. If you wanted to access that server outside their organization, you could not able to get. That is a two tier architecture. Means every person is accessing from the same machine. Same machine, they wanted to send the request and the server will respond them back. Server will give them back the hits. Okay. For example, in the banking application, they have an internal application. Only the banking employee can access that server. Outside employee, they could not able to access. Means there is a separate server which is maintaining for the banking employee where they can apply, they can use that application. This is, I call it as two tier architecture. Why I'm telling all those things in the sense, if you wanted to do the API testing, you should know all those things. How one client is sending the request. For example, I will tell you, client is sending the request. For example, www.gmail.com. If he send that request, right, that request will go through the HTTPS hypertext transfer protocol in the secured way, and it will become queue for the server. It will become queue for the server. Server will look into that particular data. It will search in the database. Okay, it is available. If it is available, it will send back to the client as a HTML page. Server is meant for to provide services to the client. What are the requests you are sending through the browser? Through the browser, if you open the Chrome browser, you are entering something, it will become queue for the server. Server will respond you back. Server is responding you back through an HTML page where you can see it from the client application. This is how the architecture should work. This is how the client and server respond will get work. Social media, like for example, you are using FB, you are using so many social media, that is the entire architecture. Means client and server, there is another server, we call it as a business logic. Business logic means whenever you are sending the request to the server, it will become the queue for the server. business logic. Business logic will hit into the database server. That server, again, it will respond back to the business logic server. Then that business logic will send you back to the client. See, client, business logic server, and database server. So that is, I call it as entire architecture. If you understand this concept, right, overall concept, API will become very easy for you to test. Application interface programming, you can test all APIs, how exactly it is a response is coming from the server, guys. Guys, it is one of the best opportunity. Get into me, get work with me. I would like to help you out. There are so many things which I would like to help you guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening my video on the today's session. And respond me back if you have any questions, if you wanted to interact with me, if you wanted to talk to me, if you need any kind of help, we are there to support you. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. See you again in my next video.